Good evening and welcome to the Whiskey Lovers Society with me, Gert Retief. And tonight we are continuing with part 2 of a 2-part series on Arran. And my previous video I did a rare batch 15-year-old from Arran, the Arran edition, and I was super impressed. Wow, what a stunning whiskey. Stunning price as well at 170 euros. But I can tell you, if I had a small opportunity and maybe a little bit of extra money, maybe saving a little bit of money and buying something special, that would have been the whiskey of choice. Now, a friend of mine always said, all alcohol is poison. If you put alcohol or poison in your body, make sure it is high quality, excellent value for money alcohol. And I think I found something that just fits that bill fantastic. So if you want to look and see what all the fuss is about, I will put a link on that video at the end card. But tonight we are looking at, well, maybe a cousin, maybe a sister or a brother to this whiskey, a 15-year-old as well. It's also a rare batch and it is matured in Bordeaux Medoc cask. So again, a red wine cask. Again, a red wine cask from the French region. I hope to really find a little bit of that wine cask influence on this one. Now, on the Arran, I did not pick up any notes that screams it is a wine cask finish. So hopefully today I do pick up something like that. It is bottled at 52.8% ABV, so it is a strong whiskey. It does cost a little bit of an arm and a leg. Well, it all depends on your budget. My budget, 170 euro, is quite a lot of money. When it first came out, it was recommended price of 130 euro for the bottle, so it's gone up a little. This one was bottled in 2021, so yeah, prices are going up. So I'm warning you today, if you like a fantastic whiskey, well, we'll see about this one, but if you like something that's special, something that is really well made, I think save up and see if you can get a bottle. It's just going to go higher and higher in prices until it's no longer available. So definitely something that I would recommend to give it a go. Now this one, natural color of course, non-chill filter, ticking the boxes, high ABV, so be careful when you drink it. Maybe a little bit of water before you try it. For the people that has been drinking whiskey for quite a long time, take a small sip. I poured this wheat ram maybe about 10-15 minutes ago, just to give it a little bit of oxygen, just to open up a little bit. And of course, if there's a little bit of that volatile alcohol, just to give it time to escape a little bit, especially if it's been stuck in a bottle for 15 years. It does like a little bit of time in the glass. So this one, on the color, yeah, natural color, it is a nice amber color. It's clean. It's a little bit of a viscosity. I'm not sure if you can see it, but you can see its nice legs forming and then just slowly running down the glass. Now on the nose, it is a super intense darkness to it. It's intensely sweet on the nose. I get a dark chocolate note. I get caramel, but also on the dark side caramel, a creamy caramel note. Now it is quite high on the ABV. And I would have expected, like the previous Argon, I was thinking it's going to be a little bit tough on the nose, especially if you, well, I call it waking it up a little bit, when you expect that little punch of the alcohol. Now, like the Argon, this one, no punching, no offensive notes coming out. Now, it is 15 years old, so there is a maturity to it. It's sweet oak coming through, dark fruit notes coming through, not really a raisiny fruit, so something more like plums, maybe dried fruit, like well, maybe a little raisiny, but very much on the back of the nose you get that hint of a raisin, but it's got a dark dried fruit on the nose for me. A little dusty oak coming through. I also get a little bit of a dried orange segments or dried orange slices that you put in the air dryer. Maybe sprinkling a little bit of brown sugar on it, you get that lovely notes coming out. My word, this is nice on the nose. There's some vanilla, and you get a little bit of a spiciness, more like a nutmeg type of spice. A little bit of that Christmas cakey note comes in, and a little bit of a nutty note as well. And the last thing that I also pick up is a little bit of a leather note, an old leather note. And every time that I go back, it just changes a little bit, giving me more of one of the notes that I just mentioned. And it seems like one of them jumps up and give you a little bit more of that. On the nose, for me, this is absolutely stunning. And if I just compare it as a teaser, on the Argon, it was a much lighter on the nose for me. This one is much more intense, like you took the dial and you just cranked up the volume of all the aromas and flavors coming out. Now on the taste, now this is quite high ABV. I would suggest if you try it without water, just a very small sip, just to make sure that you're not going to burn the taste buds and ruin the experience. So on the taste, cheers. It's super intense. It is very sweet. There's oiliness to it. It just clings the mouth. It's creamy. There's that chocolate is there. That vanilla note is there. That caramel note is there. The alcohol, now from the nose, even with agitation, and if I take it to the mouth, there's a big difference. On the mouth, on the taste, it's definitely much more intense. It's hot, sweet chocolate, caramel, and then you get that dried fruit components coming through, but it is intense. And I think this one will enjoy a little bit of water just to bring down that intensity of the whiskey. And of course, maybe also release a little bit different of the aromas and taste that tends to hide when the alcohol level is that high. So that is, just want to make sure. Now I'm looking for a tannin. 15 years old on what I would probably suspect is going to be European oak. They tend to release quite a lot of tannins, quite a lot of bitter notes, but probably not the first fill, because I do not get a lot of tannins. There's a hint of a bitter note, just a half of a bitter note coming through, And I think it's quite necessary just to tone down that super sweetness of the whiskey. It is a whiskey. Well, if you are not into super sweet whiskies, definitely you're not going to like this one. And most probably people that loves the smoky whiskies, the peated whiskies, they tend to not like a lot of sweet whiskies. So those people chasing that sherry type whiskies, that sherry monster whiskies, I think you will love this one. Definitely. Let me give it one more try. Cheers. Oh my word. For me personally, I would drink it like this. I'm not going to add water. I will sip it very small sips at a time, put it down, read a book, and every 5 minutes take a small sip just to cover the mouth, 3-4 drops at a time, quarter of a teaspoon, and just enjoy it the way it is. There's a dark honey note coming through. It reminds me a little bit of a glazed honey with cherries. Oh my word, this is fantastic. Now I did bring some water just for the experimental sake. There is about 20 milliliters in it. I'm not going to ruin this one. I brought the spoon. I am only going to add very carefully 1 teaspoon of water. It's not really that full, maybe 3 or 4 milliliters just to see the effect. And it just feels wrong for me to add water to this whiskey. The aromas are just fantastic without messing about. Now you can see immediately with adding water to it, it changes color. There's a cloudness, a cloudy, there's a little bit of a cloud forming into the whiskey from the non-chill filtration. Wow. And I must admit, I think both ways will be okay for me. I would not be offended if somebody add a little bit of water to this whiskey. It is a little bit, well, not so intense sweet anymore. The sweetness has been toned down just a little bit, but it brings out a little bit more vanillas, that creamy note coming out, that dark chocolate or chocolate note. I'm not really picking it up anymore, which is a little bit of a shame. I do like a nice note of chocolate in the whiskey. But it just calms it down a little bit, brings the intensity down, and it makes it actually quite nice, even with a little bit of an agitation. It is fantastic both ways. On taste with water, cheers. More oily, more creamy, vanillas. There's a little bit of a dash of a honey note, a little bit of a creme brulee type of note. Dried fruits is still there. It feels like a little bit of a sherry influence in it. Not getting wine note. Now, maybe the nose is broken. Maybe I need more training in whiskies with a maturation of wine. But I always look for that little bit of a sour note. But I'm not getting that. If it was a blind tasting, I would never have guessed a wine maturation. Oh, but it is absolutely fantastic. Maybe you can see the cloud is definitely rolling in. A little Scottish mist coming in. I think if I add more water, it's going to become more cloudy. Now, a little controversial issue. A lot of people says chill filtration ruins everything. And of course, for me, I don't really care about chill filtration. I think it's got a place in especially little cheaper whiskies. People want it always to look the same. We drink with our eyes, but I think a lot of people in the industry and a lot of connoisseurs and the little snobbish people, well, talking about snobbish people. I'm going to make the next video is going to be a little bit on a snob review on 6 whiskies that I think it's snob worthy. And on that, of course, please remember to like, share and subscribe. It helps out the channel. We are supporting 75 children in South Africa. Now, some people might think ad revenue in YouTube is giving you a lot of money. Well, the truth is, I'm lucky if I get 5 or 6 euros a week. So with your help, with your clicks and your sharing and subscribing, more people can see the video. And of course, more people watching the video, we might get more money for the kids in South Africa. So keep that in mind. Now, this whiskey, let me just give it one more try. A very dangerous one. I think this is something, all depends on the weather, I think. If it's hot outside, I might add a little bit of water to it. If it's very cold outside, this morning it was -2 degrees. It's daytime, it is, was it about, I think, maximum 4 degrees. So bloody cold here in Belgium. When I tend to go neat, less whiskey, but of course, just that little giving you that inside hot water bottle by doing a sip or 2 of this. So that's me on the Arran Bordeaux edition. What do you think? Have you tried it? Are you willing to pay 170 euros for a bottle of whiskey, even if it's for a Christmas surprise for yourself? Well, let me know. Maybe you have an alternative, a cheaper alternative that can give me the same satisfaction as this whiskey. So thank you very much for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe, and I see you next time. Cheers.